probiotics are great for gut health, or are they? If you start having digestive issues, one of the first things that you might think of is, I must need a probiotic. So you'll run to the store, you'll get whatever you can find off the shelf, you'll come home and you'll start taking that. Now often that will actually help the situation. However, sometimes it actually makes the symptoms worse. And here's why. Your gut has a certain type of terrain in it. There's bacteria, there's all kinds of different bugs that live in harmony inside your gut and with you. And they communicate with your body. And when those bugs are in the right places and you take that probiotic, the probiotic will actually support what's happening in your gut. But if you have a diet full of ultra-processed foods, you're not eating enough fruits and vegetables, and you're just not living a lifestyle that supports good gut function, then what happens is some of this bacteria will migrate to other parts of the gut. And one of the most common things that I see is called SIBO, or small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. The small intestines is actually sterile, and there should not be any bacteria from one part of the gut in the small intestine. But what happens when the valves of the gut don't open and close properly, it will allow for that bacteria to migrate into the small intestine. And when that happens and you start putting probiotics in it, you could actually be feeding more of the bacteria to grow in the small intestine. And we don't want that. We need to get it out of there, and we need to put the proper terrain back into the rest of the gut. So when you end up taking that probiotic, you might end up feeling more bloating, more gassy, your bowel movements may stop, you could get more constipated, you could even get more running to the bathroom. So what should you do if you think you have SIBO? Well, there's a couple of different tests. Some of the tests are urine tests, and those are really simple. You pee in a cup, you send it off to the lab, and we get a full profile of all of the good bacteria in your gut. We can actually see molds and yeasts and funguses. We can also see other kinds of toxic chemicals that should not be there. And that's called an organic acids test. That's actually one of my favorite tests to run when I think anybody has a digestive issue. And in fact, most of our health issues will start in the gut, and we have to heal there first to get everything else aligned properly. So the organic acids test is really one of the gold standards that I like to use. Some people would do a breath test, and that doesn't give you quite the profile that the organic acids test does. I think most functional medicine doctors are using organic acids test to really get a good profile, a good snapshot of what your gut looks like. If you can get this done, this actually might be the holy grail for you if you've been struggling with digestive issues and you just haven't been able to find an answer. And this is often what happens, is people will come in and they've had these chronic digestive issues for years, even autoimmune issues, and we have to look at the gut. And I'll tell people too, they'll say, well, can't you just give me some supplements? And I'll say, listen, I could give you supplements, but first of all, let's look at your diet. Let's look at how you're living your lifestyle. What are you fueling your body with? We need to start there. And then we can test and not guess, and then we can see what's going on so we can start to actually remodel that terrain. And we use a combination of foods and herbs and different supplements that might kill off the bacteria that we don't want and help the body to shut off so it stops migrating the bacteria into the small intestine. Then from there, we can start to layer in all of the good bacteria that we want. And now those probiotics that you're taking will be far more effective, and they won't be feeding the things that we don't want there. If you are taking a probiotic and you're still not feeling better, it might not be the right probiotic for you, or you might not need probiotics at all. There are several different strains of probiotics that you can take, and that doesn't mean that just because probiotics are healthy, that they're healthy for you at the time, or even that one strain is good for someone else, it might not be good for you. And this goes the same too when we look at foods, when we start to do elimination diets to do gut healing, when we're trying to figure out the SIBO and try to figure out how to kill it. When we're dealing with SIBO, we have to take that deeper dive look. And this can actually help you to start to feel more energy. You might start to sleep better. You'll have better, more regular bowel movements. This is one of the most critical components of everyday life. You've got to start eliminating these toxins out of your body. And people will say, it's normal for me to only have a bowel movement every 2 to 3 days. That's not normal for anybody. And if you're taking a probiotic and it worsens that, and your bowel movements get even further apart, then again, the probiotic is making things worse, and it should give you a light bulb to understand that there needs to be a deeper dive, maybe do some testing with a functional medicine doctor to help you figure out what is the root cause of this. And many times, your medical doctor will tell you, well, just take Miralax or something that will soften the stool so that you can have a bowel movement. Now, if you're in crisis, yeah, you have to do what you have to do. But people live on this stuff. They'll take laxatives, and that is not the answer. You are not deficient in laxatives. You are not deficient in Miralax. Your body needs help, and it needs help functioning properly without those interventions. Those are just treating the symptom. So if you're taking a probiotic and it's not working, let me know. What do probiotics, have they helped you, or have they made things worse? And are you still trying to figure out what's going on with your digestive issues? I would love to know your thoughts on this. If you know somebody who struggles with digestive issues and just hasn't been able to get their arms around it, have them seek out a functional medicine doctor, someone who can do some more sophisticated tests and again, take that deeper dive that will help come up with the actual, like I say, holy grail of what is actually happening. Look at the ultimate root cause and stop treating this from the outside in with laxatives and things that aren't ultimately going to heal the gut. I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And as always, I appreciate you being here. I'll see you on the next one.